Hi everyone, this is the E-mini Nasdaq futures. I'm using a 1000 tick chart and a 21 EMA. I've got my overnight high up here and my overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. I started trading at 8 Central Time, which is this area right here. So starting off, notice we have this double bottom right here. We push on up, sharp leg, and then when we push lower here, that forms our overnight high. Now we have the sharp push down. It looked very similar to the ES at first. Of course, the ES and the NQ do follow each other a bit, but it's not going to be the exact same. So anyway, we do start to form this to the tick failed second entry. You can see first entry long, second entry long, but that's very choppy. I just view this as a leg down and then it's going sideways. I care about clear separation of legs, big picture structures, not each tick that goes by. But either way, we have this push down, has a break, new low. Now it forms a failed second entry here. Notice we have first entry long, second entry long, failure. So it's bigger picture. Now in this case here, notice how after the break it pushes and makes a new low. Now that doesn't immediately mean you can't take the failed second entry. As a matter of fact, there is one later I liked that was like that. But considering it has a break and a new low and it rushes above the EMA and it can't even get back below it, is not a good sign on a reversal pattern to go short, because at this point it looks like it's reversing higher, unable to get back below the EMA and everything. So this is not an ideal looking failed second entry. Unfortunately, it just goes on down without us, pushes lower, starts to get choppy right here, and again, unfortunately no trades in this area. We form this double bottom right here, push on up, reach this level again, this previous resistance level, and now when we break out of this range here, we can expect price to attempt to fade back down, but you do only have one leg up right here and it's still inside of that leg, so unfortunately it's just not a good looking trade. There's no reason to go short there. So we push on lower here, we reach those lows again, it holds. Again, it's just one sharp leg down. I don't care about that tick higher right there. I just see one leg down, and then it's closing almost into the high anyway, so there's no room anyway. But anyway, we push on lower here, and notice how we make this second leg down. So that first leg down, we had a break, and these two legs down here at first, what was first leg, break, second leg, form one leg on a bigger picture. So that gives us this two-legged break from this uptrend. So now we have this uptrend, two-legged break. We can still expect to make a new high. So we start pushing up. This would be a great place for a failed second entry. It looked very much like the ES at the beginning. I was also wanting a failed second entry here on the ES as well. So anyway, we push on up here. It's just too small picture. I can see there's a couple legs back, but it's just a little bit too choppy. It's not a clear reversal pattern. So it pushes on up without us here. We find a little bit of resistance at the overnight high. We push out. Now, when you break out of an overnight high, or a low for that matter, or a range high or a range low, you want to see two attempts to fade before you buy the breakout. You don't just want to buy the breakout when you see it pushing out with a bullish bar here. You want to wait for two clear attempts to fade. Two-legged moves are how the market move. They're so common, and so you want to wait for two-legged moves after the breakout, so that way you know that the breakout's actually working. And so we move up here. We get this first attempt to fade and then second attempt to fade. Now, with these two legs, they were very borderline it was borderline, this being its own start of a new leg, because notice how, one, the bodies are a little bit higher and it has a sharper move down. What I was thinking was this is likely, say we push lower here and fade, price would try to make two legs down from there, even though you have this two-legged move here. It's just very borderline. It is a double top, and so sometimes double tops will be a two-legged move from there, and sometimes it'll count as a reset. It really depends on the context, and so when we were pushing lower here, I was just basically going to see how well it reacts to the overnight high, and we had a very bullish reaction. At first it was a bit choppy, but we pushed on up here, had a great reaction. This is a great looking retest of the overnight high, and especially when considering that measured move is still in play, and so you can still expect price to try to reach that. When you get a reaction like that, it's pretty clear that it's acting as a good two-legged retest. So I liked that. Again, had that measured move in play, two-legged retest, very strong reaction. I really liked that trade right there. I did need a limit order though, because just in case of this double top holding, you don't want to push the target outside of it. So, I just did it a bit lower there. So anyway, we push on up here. As soon as we reach that measured move, we start to push back down. So, even though you have 2 legs up, a lot of time people will think that's enough, and a lot of times it will be enough. It depends on whether price actively starts reversing or not. But sometimes it just needs that extra little push just to get to that, those extra few points just to reach that measured move before attempting to really reverse there. So anyway, as we push lower here, we can look for a reversal pattern. If you get a reversal pattern, a clear failed second entry holding below the EMA with room to the overnight low, you can absolutely look to take that because you just met this major measured move and you can expect price to attempt to reverse. So unfortunately, we don't get that. We get this push below the EMA and then it's very choppy. I don't like that short right there. It's not a clear reversal pattern. I just see it as a push below and then it goes sideways, but it does end up working there. And we retest. Now when we retest, we can, if we get a failed second entry pushing off a clear one, then yeah, we can take that. But we do have to consider after we push up here, there's a chance that price could try to make a second leg down. Now in this case, it just pushes on up, but it is very common, after a measured move is met at the highs of the overnight, it's very common to reverse back down. So price could easily start fading back in. And if price started doing that, like say it started pushing back in here, you could get like a failed second entry that still has room to the measured move. That could be good, but in this case here you have the trend line to worry about as well. But either way, it doesn't even do that. It just continues on higher there. Unfortunately, like right here, this is a failed second entry, but it's just not a good looking one. You can see first entry short, second entry short, failure, but it's really just moving up the whole time. And then let me draw off this smaller one. I just view it as a leg up, a break, expecting a new high. So, it's really just a push up with a one-legged break. So, it's not a good looking reversal pattern. So anyway, we push on up here. Another small correction, continue on higher. Another small correction, doesn't even reach the EMA. Same thing here. And then finally, we get a very sharp move down. Now, when we get this move down, I do want to mention, at first I had my channel high right here, and then price overshot and then had these sharp moves down. Now, when price overshoots channels, that commonly leads to breaks and also commonly leads to sharp moves leading to those breaks. Now, in this case here, it doesn't break. It ends up holding at that measured move right here. Now, after we break out here, overshoot, we get 2 sharp legs down, basically retesting that previous measured move level, which is very common for price to do, to retest measured move levels. So, as you can see, same area. So anyway, when we push up right here and form this failed second entry, you can see first entry short, second entry short, failure. Now, that reminds me of, this one. Like I said, if it has a break and a new low on a failed second entry, it doesn't immediately mean you can't take it. But if it's holding above the EMA, in this case right here, that's telling you that price is reversing higher, but it did end up going down anyway. Now in this case, you still have this measured move in play. It's actually holding on top of this EMA right here, and we're overall up and very bullish for the day. So I really like this right here. It was 1-to-1, kept the target at this previous swing. I didn't want to push it for more than 1-to-1 because, again, since it does have a break and a new high, it could make a double top right there and push lower and probably just make a bigger picture setup for a long. So just playing it safe there. It looks good with the momentum. Again, we just push off of that retest of that previous measured move level. 2-legged move down, pushing up into a reversal pattern. So I like that there. Anyway, we push on up here. As soon as that measured move is met, it starts finding some more resistance, but it does end up pushing through here, forming this trend up right here. We overshoot this small trend, but it ends up not breaking. It just continues higher. And then we finally make this second big picture leg up. We just almost reach it there before getting before we get very choppy. Now, or whoops, I didn't mean to move that there. So when we start getting really choppy this close to it, you can of course still look to try to reach it, but if it starts really finding resistance, then there's a chance that it's basically good with just finding resistance there. Sometimes it just doesn't fully reach it and just pushes on lower before that. And so when we get this sharp leg down right here, which I'm about to explain why I don't like this higher low, when we get this sharp leg down right here, I'm thinking of this as, it didn't need to make the full measured move. This is enough for this two-legged move, and it's already reversing down. And so when we get a sharp move down like this, price could easily just make a second leg down. And so I wouldn't want to take this higher low and then get trapped into this second leg down. And the reason that I'm viewing it as these, as this leg starting from right here, and the reason I'm not saying, oh, we already have two legs down, so it's safe for a higher low, is because this first leg down, yeah, it is the first more significant push down in this, since this trend just broke. But it's still within this range right here, and this is the first real push out of this sideways structure, which has been going for a bit. And so that's why, since this is the real first breakout move, I viewed this as that first attempt. And so I was thinking, oh yeah, we could easily get trapped if we try to go long right there. So I didn't like that, but it does end up pushing on up to the highs there. And we push lower again, get this entry right there. Again, I don't like it. I don't like how it pushed below the EMA and then closed below the EMA on the entry bar. That's just telling me that we're making that second leg down from right there. If you're pushing no lower on a second leg down and it can't hold above the EMA, that's just really not a good sign. It's just looking like the bigger picture is playing out. But it does end up pushing on up there. And so I don't know why I'm removing. I have a habit of removing things when I don't need to. So anyway, we push on up. Let me extend this channel here to where it's, to where I extended it. And then it didn't really overshoot. It barely closed out. That's basically just a bounce. And then we got these two sharp legs down. It was getting right down to it as I started this video, I believe. And I was going to say, if it rushes up, I'm going to end the video and just focus on trading. But it ended up just pushing on lower. So anyway, we could have gotten like a... I explained this on the ES video because it did a similar thing at the end of the day on the ES. What could have happened was if it pushes lower and you get two legs back while this measured move is still in play, it can basically just form a smaller failed second entry starting from right here. And then you can look to get short with this measured move in play and then use the momentum from it. So anyway, it didn't happen. It just pushed on lower here, broke the uptrend, it's having a push higher. So we could be going into some kind of channel here. I mean, that's a weird looking channel, but sometimes they do end up holding. So we'll see what happens. We could also just reverse and go into a big picture failed second entry and just continue on up. So we'll see. That's going to do it for this video. I hope it helped out in some way, and thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.